years out. And so then that question will, so we all just, it's a new process. And, okay, Trustee Mentor.
Can we add conditional use permit, conditional use permit back in?
I'll add that.
I don't know if it's small, medium, or large.
Thank you.
And I also want to add, you know, if we have like 4 or 5 things and that were in the planning and TIP area that would fall under one particular staff person, you know, there's consultants. You know, we don't. It's not like we're limited by the 20 hours that Bob is here. So I don't think that is necessarily a limit that we have to impose on ourselves.
Okay, so there's clarification, the zoning. I think that's probably large. We'll put it there for now. I want to do a time check because it's
just say conditional use permit, not zoning use
permit.
Yeah. Well, oh no, as long as zoning is big.
Right. It's kind of a subcategory. Got it. So I will add that as the initiative back in. Again, it wasn't lost, it was just moved. So we'll add that back in. So we're at 8:15. I want to talk about next steps moving forward. And Rebecca, did you have a comment? Or
just that we have an hour and a half of tape time left.
Okay. An additional meeting after this.
Are you seriously, we're limited by?
I know, just take on the phone. We can publish it. I mean,
so we haven't touched medium.
Don't we have another camera? Point of order. Don't we have another camera that's transferable? Tyler?
I mean, you could set it up here. The other camera is longer, so I've never tried putting it up there. So the length of the camera is longer, so it may hit the wall with how it's put in. But we have a tripod too that you could put it on.
We'll figure out how, if we go over that, we will continue to I mean, we need to figure that out so that that's not a limiting factor. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, so in an effort to move forward, do we take the time to go through medium and small, or do we feel like we can identify those from this effort in front of you to start moving those to the top? I'm looking for some direction from the board of, can we start to move and organize these initiatives within this document? Again, assuming it's all here, I want to make sure it's all here, nothing's missing. And it's not missing, it's maybe moved to another tab. But working from this document, can I get some, I think, indication from the board? Can we move ahead in organizing those meetings small and just those that bubble to the top? Give an opportunity to review. I can add certainly categories to them if that's helpful. But how do we want to use our time here? Because we could continue on medium and small, or because that would take more time, or we can move offline on some of these initiatives. President Rosick.
I would like you to write down everybody's top priorities, and then we start talking about them as a whole. And I'm not comfortable with if it's categorized as large and we get down to 2, and then medium has 4. I don't know how we're going to. We all said basically that what we felt really strongly about, and so somehow we need to take those and narrow them. We can classify zoning as big, we can classify it as small. I don't want to waste our time on that because there is going to be more. I just feel like I heard everyone, I tried to write them down, and I think you might have written them down too.
I think they're all here. I think they're all here, minus 1. So,
okay. Trustee Carpenter?
So I guess, do we just do the same thing for medium and for small, and do 2 and 3 priorities, and then a big comprehensive list, and then we move forward to that?
Yeah, so let's say that one more time, as far as...
So we would take, for medium and small, we would take the top selections for people that have, top selections that have 2 or more trustees who agree that that's a priority. That would give us this big list of everybody with 2 to 3 people.
Yeah.
And then can kind of juggle from there.
Sure.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So I just want to reiterate, take the large, 2 or more, and if there's markings, I'll try to capture that as far as how many. Medium, we'll do the same and small, and then just lump them together, and then
we can.
choose, or just reevaluate? What do we do with that grouping?
Well, I
Any
think that we
suggestions?
reevaluate what, from that big list, this is what everybody said, large, medium, or small is
Yeah.
important and has multiple trustees supporting that. And then we can kind of reevaluate, maybe this is a small and easy thing to complete, and we can, make that our priority for 2019, and go within that.
And are we considering what committees these go to? Because I asked that at the very beginning of the process. So that's why I want to just put up what everyone said, and then group them in who is responsible for these. Because if you have a circulation plan and it needs to go to pen and bike safety, or, then at least there's a project. It will matter to our residents and all those volunteers that they're watching, and they're gonna, I don't want to forget about the people, that they would like projects, and if we have priorities that are on the list, but they're not in the top 2, and yet we could assign it, and it wouldn't be too much more of our time or administration time, I don't want that to drop off, just because we have so many people that volunteer their time. So I don't know the right process, but I just want to know
And I
that.
almost just, and I hear what you're saying, but I'm almost just wondering if we can go through
Yeah,
that sort
we can.
of process, and
Just
then
wanna
if
bring
there
that
are,
attention.
committees that have, no tasks assigned to them in that prioritization, then we can kind of reassess from there, but I think if we could go through that first, and then.
I think that's a great next step. Take the next steps, and then for those committees, we can look at those initiatives, because they're still there, and we can reevaluate and look. Because yes, they want
Right,
to
and I don't
do
see
some
anything for
work.
conservation right now, so.
But they also, the committees,
Go ahead.
but I also, I agree with allowing them to have suggestions, but I don't think it's our job to tell the committees, the resident committees, what they should focus on. Because part of the beauty of the resident committees is they're coming with a bunch of ideas from the community, including themselves and their passions, right? Their intrinsic motivation. So, I mean, we could make recommendations, but I don't think that we dictate what.
Great point, because I asked at the beginning, and to Rebecca's point, the answer, just to clarify, the answer I heard was, that also takes staff time. So if that's why Rebecca had them submit the initiatives, because she's asking us to try to balance the staff time that it takes, and then which ones, if there are board priorities that are assigned, like for CDA. So pick CDA. We've got TIF policy, we've got housing and market study, we've got the neighborhood loan program. Is there a board direction? But I get what you're saying, or do we just leave it up to them? And so if that is a good clarifying question.
I don't think it's just one or the other, but I think that the committees will hear what our priorities are and understand that there are limitations, and that's why we were doing this exercise, and that can be communicated via staff or the liaison. But then also, I mean, like anything else, there's a give and take. So I think the conservation committee is going to know if we're clearly saying that we're not going to support X initiative, and they go and attempt to do whatever that would be. I can't even think of something, but you know what I mean? Knowing that that doesn't fit in the scope. So, and then there's communication that happens naturally. But I hear what you're saying. So.
I think those are all considerations to look at when we get to that point.
Sure.
There may be some that they all have something, there may not be, but I think you don't want to ignore that and recognize that is also a part of the process. So great point.
But right now we're just whittling down.
Yeah.
Okay.
So assuming we do that, we'll look at the 2 or 3. What is the next step from there? If this information is organized, available for you, is the next step selecting top 2 then from that list? 1, I mean,
Wait, are we not doing a medium?
No, we're doing medium, small.
Let's just do that.
Let's do that. Do that first. That's might be all the time we have.
Okay, and then we'll discuss those on the 2nd. Sorry, Trustee McKay.
Before we leave large, I did kind of hear some shifting, and I just wanted to say I would support 7 and 5. I heard a lot of consensus for 7 and 5 with some tweaking, and so I just wanted to make sure we tested.
So can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
As I'm looking at large, there's 7 trustees that favor number 7, transportation. That's unanimous. And I'm not saying we vote on that now or anything. I'm just saying that that's a pretty big, That could be a next step on the next meeting, that's a significant milestone. There's also 5 for number 5. So this process will begin to identify, and movement may exist, movement may not, but I think that's a great next step in the process.
And that transportation is parking and system circulation?
No.
Number 7 is parking. Repeal
Okay,
of this village
now
environmental-
repeal, revisit.
Revisit,
Okay.
yes. Re-examine is what we said. Re-examine.
Semantics, okay.
Whatever.
Okay.
And there's 5 for number 5, if you're going, is thinking movement. So I feel like we've identified good next steps. I'll take this and organize it in a fashion that's workable for the 2nd, and we'll have a discussion about those specific initiatives.
What about medium?
Let's do medium and small. Let's just go through it.
Oh, we want to? Okay, yeah, yes, we're ready, let's do it. Okay, medium. I might need a new pen, sorry, I thought we were all like, no. So looking at medium and small. So, number 9, hire a consultant to conduct a local housing and commercial, so that's 9 and 12 combined. There's 3, I hope you can read this. 11, number 11.
Can you just say what they are so I can write them down? Housing and market.
Yeah.
Or
Housing, local housing, commercial market analysis. Number 11, which is a neighborhood attic duplex program. There's also emerging, so one said review our duplex conversion, another loan program, so that's kind of one and the same.
I think that's kind of like the other one, review,
Yeah,
Yeah, review it.
we want to say review first.
instead of like end.
I combined, trustee Bachhorst, yours and.
Evaluate.
So
Reevaluate,
that's 3,
re-examine,
re-examine.
relook.
Number 13, which is develop and implement a resource management plan for Milwaukee River Trail and Bluff.
I like that one, and I almost moved on, oh, forget it.
That's 3.
Can we include that water there, or is that something separate?
It's already, it's like 6 years ahead of Milwaukee Trail. We've been doing 6 years of resource management.
It complements it.
Okay.
Oh, or ongoing.
It is ongoing.
I think Atwater, the issues are more like, the amount of public use we have, garbage, dogs, they're different, they're not really resource management. I mean, Atwater is a different issue that isn't on any of these pages.
And that could be part 2, reevaluating, is anything missing based on comments heard? Because that hasn't been processed quite yet.
Lake Bluff polling
Oh,
site.
trustee Bachhorst.
I'd like to move my vote for number 17 to, I don't agree, President Rozek, that the legislative and finance committee is the same thing, but I would say, and maybe this is, that appoint members to an ad hoc legislative lobbying / advisory committee, let's just say it, similar to the budget. I mean, I think, and so I don't know if there's a way to merge those so that we can get to.
So 2 to number 14?
A complementary ad hoc committee.
Okay.
Because they do offer information to each other, but I don't think they're one and the same.
I don't know if there's some.
Trustee Warren?
I was wondering, earlier on, about an hour ago, we talked about the Lake Bluff polling sites. Is
Which is
that
number
still,
16.
is that still on the list, or is it something where we don't even know if they're going to request it to be moved? I think it's important, if it's requested to be moved, I think it's important that it be moved. But if it's something where we don't even know that that's going to come to pass, is it something that belongs in the initiatives, or is it kind of something we lay over for a later
If
date?
it's being requested to be moved and say, it certainly wouldn't happen, I mean, if we had to build out a community space, I mean, it would be in 2020, it's a $500,000 cost to do that, to get that election to move there. Huge. So I think that if you allow us to have a conversation first with the school president, and that might help, but I understand what you're saying. I would put it as a side note that if, there's an impasse that, we're being required to spend $500,000 to move this election site, then we need to do something. Because, I guess if they're going to be adamant for the 16th.
I mean, if they propose that site specifically.
Right, which they did.
They didn't? Okay.
No, so there may be an interim.
But they had inquired as to whether we had purchased the building. The response from the clerk was yes.
and they said
They wanted us to.
they wanted our elections to move there. And I just think it's a very, I think that we need to lean into that discussion a little bit from the perspective that this is a large price tag. And there was I think that all of the points that they're making are really valid, but the people who fund both of our systems are the same people. And so we want to be really cognizant of that before making the decision. And there are other ways that, you know, municipalities do this with their school districts. Some do in-service days that day. Some, you know, if there's a concern in security, well, I mean, let's peel the onion a little bit, for lack of a simplistic way to discuss it.
And there could have been just not a full understanding of the status of that community space. You know,
Right, and I think
it's been
we've
talked
never,
about.
other than a verbal conversation that took place in over less than 5 minutes over the phone between someone and the clerk, there's been no additional dialogue, and so I just wanna,
Maybe premature to.
you know.
Trustee Martin.
We have sign code on here, only one person's voted for it, but I think it's a required. So you would keep it on the list so it doesn't get lost in our process.
Did you vote for it? I voted for it.